This is a Frank podcast.
As far as Life Podcast 2025, episode 29, brought to you by King's Container Crew, the greatest container crew outfit on the planet. Throughout Australia and New Zealand, head to kingscontainercrew.com for your container packing and unpacking solutions. And what's that tab that you got to go to, Brad, if you want to get a
work with us?
on
You just hit the work with us tab, and
yes,
you'll
that's the one.
get you through. If you're a decent character, you get a job. Great bunch of dudes.
And of course, brought to you by New Zealand TAB and Frank Podcasts. And all three of those outfits will be absolutely stoked with what we saw last night. Will and Brad coming at you on a Sunday morning, which means we must have had a pretty bloody good win the night before, mate.
We wouldn't do this if we shat the bed Saturday night, would we? No, no, it's easy to get it. I tell you what, that win is the only thing keeping me warm today on this shithouse, freezing cold, sideways day in Dunedin. I tell you, I'm sitting here, I've got a little rug across my lap, and yeah, that win is keeping me warm. Jeez, that was
incredible
Happy
second half, 40-10 over Cronulla, a team that probably has designs on top for themselves. But yeah, made them look second rate, particularly in that second half. Couple out, Mitch Barnett obviously still getting over that injury setback, and then Wade Egan pulls out 11 a.m. on match day. But no fucking worries, mate. Just get on with it and give the Sharks a hiding in their own backyard.
Where's the keys? What are the gears? 1 down, 4 up. No worries. Leave it with me, Wado. Yeah, that was a ripper. It was pretty similar, I thought, to the Rabbits game style-wise, but we done it better. Like I've noticed, did you notice in the early stage of the first half, like the Rabbits game, when their defense is trying to get on us, we sling it wide a couple of passes to get out of our danger area. There's been little hints at changes the last couple of weeks, and fuck, that was good to watch last night.
It was very similar to the Rabbitohs game, just with a much better defensive effort.
Yeah.
Or defense on the goal line. I thought particularly almost in the first half, the defense was better because we were camped down on our, obviously conceded a couple of tries, but just rebuffed them a few times. One try from a kick and then another from a six again, just caught short out wide. But other than that, outstanding defense, held on really well late in the first half. And that just fed into the second half where it felt like the Sharks were running downhill. We were like, oh, this is going to be a tense second half watch. The Sharks are starting to look dangerous. And then, unbelievable start to the second half, just like the first. But kept on piling on the tries and never really looked like conceding or, letting them back into it, which is a pleasant change because we've let several second half leads slip this year and then just held on at cliffhangers like the Souths game, the Dolphins game, the Cowboys game. So to close it out, hold them scoreless, 28-0 second half, 5 tries to none. Fuck, how good's that? Halcyon days indeed, Brad.
It's some of those young players far out. That game was on the back of some efforts from the young boys last night.
Yeah.
Valmonga, that's a breakout game. He's been hinting at that, but geez, and they've been given a little bit of Webby's obviously just giving them a little bit more room to do a bit more with the ball. The offloading's more apparent now all of a sudden. It's far out. It was easily the best watch. Was it as good as probably right there with that Rabbits game last season in terms of last couple of years' performances?
Yeah, just, as far as being dominant, probably, best since 2023 is our biggest win of the season, obviously. The second best defensive performance, only after that 14-6 win over the Roosters. And piling on 40 points, as you said, post-game in our message chain, Brad. Good to see our for and against get a little bit of a pep up.
Putting some respect on our name. It was good seeing them pile on the points, but gee, we were cutting them ribbon. I did like Sam Healy. We'll go over them all individually during the game. There's a lot to like about this game. And one glaring question. There's one player that's got a massive question mark on his head still for me after a performance like that, a team performance like that. But I almost think Luke Capewell's our best centre.
Kurt Capewell
Oh,
even
God,
was
sorry.
probably even a better centre.
Who's Luke Capewell?
A pretty run-of-the-mill utility back that played for, I think, Souths, maybe Titans. Yeah.
Oh,
If
Jesus.
they're related or not.
Yeah, no, Kurt goes good too.
Yeah. Kurt talented family.
Far out, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, I'm all hopped up. I've just finished my second cup of tea, so I'm a little bit
Oh,
doula.
shit. You're all jittery. Mm.
Wild. But yeah, your favorite?
Is just talking. Yeah, but that was mine as well. Just the how much it was built on the performance of youth. Those three forwards, Vaimaunga, and I thought Laban had his best game in the
Yeah.
NRL. He looked keyed up from the start. Got only a second start as well, run on game. Halcyon was great again, and just coming up with big plays. Something I liked in the post-match presser was, Webster obviously very happy with these kids, and they seem quite mature for
Yeah.
young guys, but they're not being sort of stymied. That he said, about being able to still express themselves. A lot of that is, on the back of James Fisher-Harris coming to the club and what he's brought off the field, and they feel comfortable coming into the club. They're loving it. They look like a fucking happy team.
Do they?
That
What?
are really into each other. Good bunch of pals, and it's shown on the field.
It was the first time I'd seen this season pure stoke on Fisher Harris's face going over that try. Like, you don't see pure stoke on his mug very often.
Yeah.
But yeah, for him to be lit up across the face, getting that try, that was rad to see. Vaimaunga, what a beast. What a beast. And they negated completely. What was AFB up to? I didn't even notice him.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it to see if it was, Fisher Harris shutting him down. But man, 13 runs for 126 meters, I think it was. That's not very AFB like in 64 minutes in a game where, they needed someone to stand up, and he's playing against his old team.
You'd think he'd have a point to prove out there last night, but nothing eventuated. We talk about like Metcalf had another great game, and talking about him, I was just thinking this morning in the glass house during my first cuppa. Geez, Webby's got to be close to knocking on and maybe another Daily M Coach of the Year, isn't he?
Mm.
Who else? What other coaches performing like him? Who's he up against? I suppose Seraldo's
and Ricky. I mean,
true.
I guess maybe it's a year that you give it to the minor premiers in a comp like this. It's because it's not unless it's Bellamy.
Unless one of those three win the grand final, then they're a shoe-in, aren't they?
Well, the Dally M's is more your regular season performance. So, yeah.
Fuck, I'm clued up on this rugby league thing.
But yeah, Brad doing his research once again. Yeah, where were we, Brad? Just a great position to be in. We're just having a look at the ladder, the live ladder. We're equal first with the Bulldogs, who have a pretty tricky assignment on Monday against Parramatta.
Monday?
King's birthday. Yeah, King's birthday over there. Parramatta looking a lot better than a team that's coming second last with Mitch Moses back in the saddle. The Raiders, the Storm are still knocking on the door. They're 2 points behind us. The Raiders have a big game against Souths today, so they're looking to join us back on 22 points there as well. Then there's a big gap. That win over the Sharks has really spread the field. They're in fifth, 4 points behind. There's no one. Everyone else just below that has played. Cowboys on 15 points. Dolphins and Broncos, who both had big wins this weekend, they're on 14. Manly, who unbelievably got run down by the Knights, they're on 14. So the Roosters, who do they play? They haven't played yet this weekend, or do they? Should probably do my research. But yeah, I mean, they're so far behind that we've got such a great gap now, and we've got a bye coming up. Then we've got Penrith 3 days after Origin 2 in Perth. So we're at home too. So those poor Panthers, there's 5 of them in New South Wales team. They've either got to get from Perth on Thursday to Auckland, play on Saturday, or get rested, which someone said in the live chat on our episode on Tuesday that Claire is going to rest them, which does make sense, and he does tend to do that. The only reason I think that they maybe wouldn't is because the Panthers are sitting, 15th on the ladder and can't afford to
Yeah.
throw away 2 points. But I mean, that's almost a gimme if those Origin players don't come, and even if they do, geez, that's a tough one to back up.
Did you see
Then we've
that?
got the
Did you see that Panthers team the other week with their Origin players missing? Gee whiz, who are these guys? It was ridiculous. Just didn't know anyone.
Like Jim Beam Cup stuff. Yeah, and then we've got the Broncos away. That's a tough one. They bounced back last week, but they're in the middle of a tough Origin schedule as well. And then we've got another bye, so those points are piling up. The top 4 spot is ours to lose now, which is a fucking exciting prospect.
And hasn't our mindset changed in the last fortnight with that? We thought it was a bit of a false economy, thinking, oh, we're sitting there, this could swap. But now the table's stretching out. I had to look at that this morning. Gaggle of them on 14. There's daylight almost between us and the top 4 now. So we're just there duking it out, one of the big guns, and then the rest of the also rans. It was nice putting us a tier above the Sharks in that game last night. You know, I like to work out
swing.
where. Yeah, that is. So we've put a gap on them. We a legitimate top 4 team.
And I've said it a lot this season. Like, I mean, there's no reason why we can't be a contender, because there just aren't any others. This isn't like 2023 where we're obviously a really good side and a genuine top 4 side, but Penrith and Brisbane were obviously, you could tell, going to the finals, and they proved it by both giving us a thrashing.
Yeah,
they were a cut above. But this year, the Storm are kind of the benchmark, but they're pretty up and down. Bulldogs, I think, still unproven. They've taken a couple of hidings, yet to play us. Still right up there. Raiders, I think, I'd almost have them, equal competition favourites, beaten us a couple of times. Beyond that, unless it's the Broncos timing their run, or the Sharks, I think, have proved the last 2 weeks that they're pretenders. That's bloody exciting.
I almost have more fear in the ones outside of the 8 at the moment than inside. There's some real upsetting teams. The Panthers, the Roosters can flog anyone any given day. Who's the other one that I was thinking of down there? And Parramatta, we mentioned earlier. We're actually going to that Parramatta game, aren't we?
We are. Could be a big one. Second last round, last home game of the season, I believe.
It's a long way away, isn't it? I was just looking then, getting excited about going, and it's actually, we've got a long wait before we head up to Auckland, New Zealand.
Don't start packing your toilet bag just yet, Brad.
Where's my toothbrush? Where's my toothbrush? Nah, sweet. How did the player ratings look? Did you get flogged by anyone online for your choices this time around?
No, I think I have. Maybe that was a tad harsh on Tomato Martin. Was maybe the only criticism I've seen so far.
Yeah,
didn't I take it on the fucking chin last week for not giving Chance Nickel-Klostad a 9, which I mentioned in this week's player ratings. Yes, he should have got a 9. But then I had to kind of mark his score down slightly. I might have given him 8.5 on any other day last night, but I couldn't give him the same score.
True, because it was better. Like, you back yourself into a corner now.
Yeah, can't had to rob mine back there, didn't I? Harsh lesson.
Oh well, if you had your time over, eh?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Hey, I thought first, just so people don't switch off. We might get a quick 30 for 30 out while
in
the mine. So obviously that injury to Mitch Barnett's still devastating, and for him, and he's in the Origin team, and would much rather have him there than not. Last night showed that we will be all right without him, assuming the guys we've got there now stay fit. But biggest injury setbacks in Warriors history. Seem like a good place to go with this.
How many you got there?
I'm going to run you through them. Well, so I did a top 10 in the Warriors 25 year book.
Like that one there.
That one
there,
that exact
and also the one just
there.
over your skier's right or skier's left shoulder. Yeah, there you go.
So the only one that I've got to add to it, so I'll just chuck this one out first. In the 5 years since, really, was Tohu Harris's season-ending injuries, and he had 3 of them in 2019, 2021, and 2024. He'd probably given the the impact on the season. Those other 2 seasons were kind of cooked anyway. last year. Him going down really was the final nail in our finals chances, I think, and obviously led to him prematurely retiring. So, yeah, and again, I have to say, I mean, champion player, Warriors great, but it is a big part of his club legacy is the fact that he, had missed the back half of 3 seasons of his 7 seasons at the club. So
did he do 7 seasons?
Yeah.
That's incredible. I would never have picked him to have done that many years.
So yeah, tough for Tohu, and obviously the way it finished. But yeah, leaves a bit of a legacy. Gets James Fisher Harris to step into his spiritual leader shoes, and we're flying. But winding it right back to 95, Brad, coming in at number 10, Frano Bodica.
1995.
You might remember this one. Frano Bodica, horrific. Came from Wigan midway through the season, was starting to carve up. 5 games and shocking broken leg injury. It was ugly. Got all twisted up, and it was all over for him. Never played for the Warriors again. Went back. He was meant to stay for a couple of years, but went back to England instead. Number 9, 2000. Stacey Jones broke his arm playing a meaningless test against Tonga in late 1999 during the Tri-Nations. Missed the opening 7 games of the 2000 season, and the Warriors won just one of those. Kind of, poor old Mark Graham couldn't catch a break during his stint. And we barely avoided the wooden spoon that year, and the club almost imploded. Number 8, Jerome Rapati. Geez, couldn't that guy find an injury?
Yeah,
superb player, versatile, just silky, but man, probably the most injury prone player. He'd played 18 games in the previous 4 seasons, and then he hung up the boots in 2014 when a broken jaw thwarted another comeback attempt.
Jesus, 18 games over 4 seasons.
Yeah. So he played 150 odd games for the Warriors. He's there for 12, 13 seasons, but yeah. So what could have been for Jerome?
Yeah.
Number 7, Ivan Cleary, another 2000 injury. So he came over from the Roosters. Quality pickup, but just his 5th game, he dislocated his shoulder, and it was all over for him. So Mark Graham, head and hands again. Yeah. Number 6, Brad, Steve Price in 2010, a heel injury. So this off-season injury meant the legendary prop didn't even take the field during his farewell year. Ivan Cleary gave the captaincy to Simon Mannering in a bit of an off-season bombshell, but it proved a bit of a moot point anyway because Steve Price never played again. He was an incumbent Origin player and everything. So yeah,
there's a little piece of history that I've completely forgot about. So he didn't even take the field at all. Was he thinking he was going to get over this injury at some stage, and then in the end just pulled the pin?
Yeah, just a troublesome heel, and he was obviously pretty old, but he's planning to come back. Number 5, Monty Beetham's knee injury in 2002. He'd just been appointed captain. Warriors on the up, and in round 3 does his ACL. He almost made it back for the grand final. I talked to him for that book, and he was actually raring to go during the finals. But obviously, we had a pretty good team that had won the minor premiership, and he was still sounds like it was still a big part of what they did that year off the field, and came back and captained the club for a couple of seasons. Old Monty. Number 4, Ben Henry. Again in the Rapati category. It was his 3rd. This is in 2016. His 3rd serious knee injury in under 3 years. Suffered in the Warriors season opener against the Tigers. You might remember that game. I think it was at Leichhardt. And he retired at just 24 years of age.
Is he still involved in the club? He was working at the club for a long time, wasn't he?
Yeah, like in a sort of community role for years and years. I think he might still be there. Yeah. Nice
He was another talent, poor bugger.
Versatile, second row, centre. Did the job. Could have been a Capewell type could have been a future club captain. Number 3, 2009, Brent Tate's knee. And speaking of guys that could find a serious injury, I still think Brent Tate was super underrated. The 2 full seasons he played with us, 2008, 2010, we made the finals and he had great years. But 2009 was the second of 4 knee reconstructions he had during his career. Only
4?
3 games in, only 3 games into that season, and obviously that season fell apart very rapidly. 2009, so I think that was an overlooked part of why that happened.
In and out of it, that
No.
neck of his wasn't the undoing of him in the end. Remember, he played with pretty much a goalpost pad around his neck, didn't he? Velcro a goalpost pad around. Jeez, that was. If I had to wear that, I wouldn't be running out on a footy field. I think you should start wearing this. Well, fuck me. No, I'll retire. Thank you. If I'm that close to death, I'll just pull the pin.
He didn't give up easily. Brent Tate, one of my favorite players actually to watch.
Yeah, same.
As an old Broncos fan, shit, he was good for them. Number 2, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, his knee injury in 2016, obviously a marquee recruit. Scored that golden point try against the Roosters in Gosford, his old club, and then I think it might have been the next game. Yeah, it's his 7th game for the club. Did his ACL against the Bulldogs in Wellington, a game that we won actually. Tui Lolohea stepped up and won us the game despite Roger exiting early on. And that was
that
since
one. No, we went to the Sharks.
Poor old Captain McFadden. He's we'll come to this. I might just do our number 1 just to show how unlucky Cappy was. Number 1, obviously, Sean Johnson, broken ankle, 2015. The Warriors were absolutely flying, heading towards the top 4. Sean Johnson, best player in the game, shatters his ankle, scoring a try against Manly. We get flogged, don't win another game. Finished the season on an 8-match losing streak and finished, I think, 13th. What could have been? Sean was just untouchable. I think it was only a couple of weeks earlier, that amazing try against Melbourne. We were the hottest team in the comp. He was the hottest player, and all over. Some say Sean was never the same player. I disagree, but still did many amazing things. But that was kind of the start of a bit of found a few injuries after that in subsequent seasons. And
we went on a run there for a few years of just dropping the last 15 games every year. Remember some of those shocking ends of seasons that we went through there for a while? Steve Kearney, was it Kearney's?
Now that you mentioned it, with the season that Bluey coached us, we lost our last 8 in 2012. And that 2015 season lost our last 8. I remember having a heated discussion with Ryan Hoffman when they lost their first 3 in 2016. I said, well, you're on an 11-match losing streak now. And he's like, well, that was last season. And I was like, well, still a club record and you're still extending it. And he was in that team too, so I'm not quite sure what his problem was. 2017, a 9-match losing streak to finish the season. That was Kearney's first year.
I remember that one.
That's about it. But geez, pretty desperate days those, weren't they? But coming back to Cappy, 3 years at the club. 2014, he takes over from Matt Elliott. Misses the finals on for and against. Great coaching performance. 2015, flying. Sean Johnson's leg comes off, and that's that season done. Then loses his marquee fullback 6 games into the next season, and just misses the finals again and gets the chop. I talked to Cappy the other day, Brad.
Did you?
To talk,
ask after me?
He did say, "How's Brad doing?"
Sweet.
So
nice. He still hasn't got. I got him that quote for the deck. He hasn't got back to me, so I better chase that up. Actually,
talked to him for Big League, talking about pathways and Jet Cleary. Actually, so go and check out Big League magazine. It's great to have that back on deck, and also in that issue, a Q&A with the legendary Mark Tukey, who still involved with the Warriors, the ambassador. Loves the club, and lovely guy.
Will has been busy. What was Cappy's thoughts on Jet? Has he got high hopes for the kid?
Well, you could just go and buy Big League and you can find out exactly what he said, Brad. But I'll give you a sneak peek. He's very impressed with his potential and his attitude. Says he's loving it over here out of that sort of Sydney bubble, out of the, I guess, Cleary bubble.
Yeah.
Still got a long way to go. It's his first year in, Jersey Flegg even. He's had a New South Wales Cup debut. Certainly see him as a future first grader.
Yeah.
But
Out
yeah,
of it.
geez, it's hard to see too far past Chanel and Luke Metcalf at the moment. Geez, they were
Chanel.
superb last night.
Yeah, Metcalf
Yeah.
earned daily in points last night. It was
Yeah.
a great game. Absolutely ripper game. Chanel probably got what he deserved after toiling away for this season. He finally got the spotlight on him for a change. And that
Yeah.
why did Nico Hines throw that pass? It's like he waited for Chanel to come through and held it back to actually get him easier. Fuck, Nico Hines, he's a myth, that guy.
Big. Yeah, paying him $1 million a year. And you see your reserve grade 5'8", form of a reserve grade 5'8", carving up against him. Must be pretty tough for Sharks fans. But should we get into some Kings Container Crew player ratings, Brad?
Yeah, that's what
really
they're all
delve
hanging out
into
for.
this.
We've made them sit around for about 26 minutes now, and all they're here for is you going over this.
You're like, what are you talking about? Fucking injuries from 1995.
Skip that.
God, this guy can go
10
on.
seconds. Skip 10 seconds. Skip 10 seconds.
No, he's only up to number 4. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, sweet. Righto, Cockneck.
Starting at the top, Chance Nickel-Klogstad, again, another superb performance. He's absolutely dominating. I don't know how many daily endpoints he's been chalking up, but he's up there with the form fullbacks of the comp this year. Huge shift, 242 metres, 6 tackle breaks. That try save and play on halftime was massive. And then he makes a line break that leads to the try early in the second half. So in the space of about a minute and a half on the game clock, he's totally swung the game. 12 points.
Yeah.
Really.
Effort on effort. Everyone looks up to him, don't they? All the players, whenever they're talking about anything, they always talk about Chance. He must be just what they build. What am I trying to say? He's the example that they all want to be in that team at the moment. His effort is ridiculous. I like the way
he was the first one.
He was the what? Sorry.
Oh, but Andrew Webster was the first one that he pinpointed, talking about the defensive performance.
Yeah,
he singled out Chance as the tone setter for that, which is pretty massive for a fullback.
Yeah. All right. What'd you give him? 8.
He got an 8 out of 10. Could have been 8.5, but as I mentioned, gave him an 8.5.
I think 8's still a banging score.
Exactly. People like 8. Oh, what more? Someone said last week I gave him an 8.5. What more does Chance have to do? To what? To get a 10 out of 10? Jesus. Dallin. Martinis Lesniak. I'm imagining this is the guy who's in your crosshairs again, Brad.
Yeah. Well, what
Let's
Chance over 200? Yeah.
Fantastic try again. Carbon copy of the one against South. Great leap, great grab. Good to see him on the score sheet again. But after that,
what did he? 69 meters, was it? 71. What was it? How many meters?
10 carries, 69 meters. I guess the lack of involvement and the lack of impact when he does get involved. He's looking slow,
especially when your other two.
Is that unfair?
He doesn't look. He looks a little shorter pace at the moment, doesn't he? And the other two are racking up 200 a game. How's he only getting 69 if Chance is over 200 and Roger was over 200, wasn't he? So the math, something's not quite right there. The game always seems to be. I know they are kicking to him a lot of the time, so that probably stymies his return meters. Yeah, and sweating on him, but they're just lacking a bit of punch. He seems to be running. Doesn't seem to be running for gaps between shoulders or anything. He just runs face on upright into the defense, and they can just get under him and push him back a bit. It just doesn't look like he's playing smart.
And if Chance or Roger, sort of they're kicked to and wrapped up pretty easily, they're taking, carry 3 as well. Downs is not involved and just doesn't have that pizzazz when he is involved. Neither of those tries in the first half were his fault, but
no, they weren't.
He still looks sort of clumsily in no man's land anyway. I know that's probably unfair, but other players kind of get closer to maybe preventing it, if that's
Yeah, he looks
That
like a
makes
little
sense.
bit lost sometimes, running around, and yeah, he's a
Mm.
frantic player. I'd love to
Lots
see
of
him come
pace.
good. Him at his best. Imagine having him doing what
Yeah,
he does back with some confidence out there. I want to see it, but
yeah.
at the moment, it's not happening for him. Hopefully, it's just
And they
maybe a couple more games and he'll come right. But maybe he could have done it New
and
South Wales Cup, and bring Tane up, who was
wow,
going well.
there is options there. I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily think that he's it. I still probably think he's the best option at the moment because you know what he
Yeah,
can do, and he has scored a couple of superb tries that maybe not too many others get. Um, but yeah, you just want to see, I guess, that all
yeah,
round game. You can cop a few errors, which he's still making if he's running like last year. He's 180, 200 meters a game kind of guy.
just busting it
It's just
open.
not happening for him.
Hmm.
Couple of good takes as well, sort of under pressure plays if we're going to give him a rap.
That was a great
But yeah,
try. That was, yeah, competed well to grab that try. Yeah, it's just a shame we're not. I'd love to see him punching through the line a bit more like he used to. It's something not
mm.
quite right there at the moment yet.
Adam Pompey, this was an unusual one. 3 runs for 31 meters. Yeah, I guess everyone else was hungry for the ball. I seemed to notice him when he did those 3 times he did
Yeah,
run it. I was very surprised to see that. And it does happen with Pompey from time to time. He just, lets the game pass him by. His opposite number got 144 meters, Jesse Ramian, but geez, didn't Pompey put him in his place late in the game? Picked him up and drove him. Not really a Pompey play, and it's
no,
not really something that happens to Jesse Ramian, but he looked like a big man on campus at that point.
he did. I was surprised when I was going through the player ratings this morning that was his stats, because he did seem to be a
Mm.
bit more apparent than those numbers would suggest.
Yeah,
Got a dog's eye, got himself a little try there as well, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, obviously very quiet with ball in hand.
Mm.
Although we blew
No,
them apart up the middle, a lot of it was through the middle, wasn't it?
yeah, just
Around the ruck.
working on the back of that.
Yeah.
Dallin got a 6, by the way. I guess on the strength of that try and a couple of other good plays. Pompey 5.5. Kirk Capewell thought another, and the Harrisons are going to come at
Did
me
this
again,
go
but I could
past the
only find a
committee?
7. I could only give him a 7 this week. I thought he was great. It was
Yeah.
effort
Yeah.
on effort. 24 tackles, not too much going on with the ball. 7 runs, 59 meters, and a good job opposite danger man KL Ero, who bit of a
Hobbled off.
peck blow for
Yeah.
him. So see how that it doesn't usually turn out too well. But yeah, again, Capewell, man, I would keep this lineup rather than having Berry back in there, the
I
50-minute
think
man.
so. Yeah.
Because I don't really, besides maybe a bit more pace, I actually don't know that you're getting a hell of a lot more with Berry in the team.
Capewell's far more direct out in the centres with ball in hand, and his kick chase was exactly what you get out of Berry anyway as well. That big boy was downtown every time a kick went down there. He was first man there. He's a weapon. Yeah, he's my preference at centre at the moment, that centre pairing that we've got rolling.
Yeah. And he's certainly a higher footy IQ and that experience. And if it's a pick between having Berry or Laban in the team, it's Laban all day for me. And yeah, that's also, and we've still got Ali Leatawa still in the mix too.
Yeah.
Who sort
Did
of
he
number
play New
one
South Wales
centre with
Cup?
a bullet. I'll have a look at that in a second, Brad, once we get through these, and be interested because they know the good win, the table topping New South Wales Cup side. Roger, so 7 for Capewell, 7.5 for Roger. I thought Roger was outstanding again. Geez, he's getting through some work. He looks hard. Like I've never seen him look harder to tackle.
Yeah.
It's just like running at guys and bumping. He just looks difficult to tackle. It's not so much with the footwork and stuff all the time. He just looks like a hard man. 22 runs, 203 meters, 70 post contact, which was a game high, 5 tackle breaks. And I think defensively, he's really warming to the task on the wing as well.
Yeah.
Against
He's finding him.
Sione Katoa and some good jams, some good scramble. I thought he was outstanding all round. Could have given him an 8, to be honest.
he's finding some open space at the moment too, and he's getting some quality ball where he can do a bit more rather than just bump off the guy directly in front of him. It was nice seeing him skirt down the sideline there a couple of times last night, and a little jinking and jiving and the step, and yeah, he's playing like a beast, loving it, looking young out there.
Yeah, you do wonder what might have been if they chucked him on the wing from the outset last year, maybe Montoya a run in the centres or not at all. But yeah, we've talked about the halves a bit. Both of them got 8.5s. Thought it was close to both of their best.
Yeah.
Chanel obviously the highlights with the 2 kicks for the tries, and then the late double, 90-metre intercept. Geez, that's a nice one to have on your CV.
he was cooked.
On the last before that. Yeah. Some big tackles too. Geez, he's a good defender. Love Chanel. Love seeing him get that spotlight on him. And I thought, he takes a lot of weight off Metcalf's shoulders, particularly in that 20-metre area. So, yeah, superb performance. And Metcalf, I was probably happiest almost with that one from him more than any other. Great kicking game. He took all the long kicks pretty much and was very, very good. It looked like he had a few extra yards on his boot last night on top of the the kick for Dallin for the try. Brilliant try assist, second phase, line break, and then putting Vaimaunga away. That was just beautiful to watch. And the game didn't sort of pass him by at any stage. He always seemed to be there and involved, and he was taking on the line a bit, even, and he had the one sort of break, but he was on the ball, looking, sniffing around, decent defence and a bit better off the tee. 6 from 8, still a couple of dusty
6 from
misses.
8. It's a lot of attempts. 5 tries we got in that second half, eh? I only just calculated that this morning, read that. I was like, holy shit, yeah, it was 5 tries and a half.
5 to none. Yeah. But yeah, anything else on those halves, Brad? The combination
it's all been said.
Started all 13 games, and that's that stability when you compare it to last year when Sean was in and out. Metcalf went down early. You barely could string a few games together with the same halves combo. When you get to play 13 in a row with the same 6 and 7, and they're pretty decent players.
Starting to show, isn't it?
Together. Yeah. Into the forwards, James Fisher-Harris, such a mean guy, so good. It sounds like the value in him is the stuff that you don't see and stuff off the field, but he's still performing like an elite prop. 12 runs, 109 meters, 34 tackles, scored a try.
Yeah. And you couldn't ask any more out from him.
Yeah.
What did you give him out of interest?
7.5.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair.
Sam Healy coming in late. He thought he was playing Cup. Comes in late on game morning for Egan at his old home ground against the team he slogged away in the lower grades for as a 3rd string hooker. His old man's club, 222 games for the Sharks, Mitch Healy, and he gets to make his first run on appearance at that ground. Just a beautiful piece of I guess kismet there that he gets to do that at Shark Park, and he looked awesome from the start. That first stint, so lively, so dangerous. Went out and played his own game, didn't try and be Wade. His service was very good. I thought he was touching that first try was crucial. Good, 8 runs, 71 meters, and 27 tackles. So he was highly involved in his 47 minutes. And case to be made that maybe he should be number 14, although I don't see it happening from Webster's comments in the post-match press. They like Tamati's versatility, but geez, I wouldn't mind seeing Healy get that bench spot.
He's a snappier passer than I thought he was. He's got a crisp pass on him, and I like that he just, any half opportunity, he was out of dummy half. Probably runs out of dummy half twice. We think Egan darts quite a bit. He does it twice as much as Egan. A little bit more pace off the mark. But I would have liked to have seen him get a bit more game time. I would have liked to see him on earlier in that second half. After the way he started the game, I was like, oh, come on, bring him back on now. I want to see more of what he was doing in that first 20. But yeah, great. Geez, poor bugger. He's just sitting waiting at the moment, isn't he? He'll get his chance, and he won't. Once he gets his chance, he won't leave that 17.
Yeah, it'd be good if he could find a sort of another role in the team. You can imagine him being a bit of a Dylan Walker type, even like he's a rangy guy. Maybe sort of defending in that sort of role might wear him down, but I could see it.
Yeah.
And yeah, a good ball player. Like you'd imagine him being a 5'8".
Well, that's it.
It reminds me a bit of Galvin. The way
I don't see why he wouldn't be versatile off the bench like Tamati would be. I think you'd create he'd slip in anywhere quite comfortably by the way he plays the game. Yeah, 5'8". Wouldn't look out of place at all.
Yeah, and we know that Egan can play in the halves too. If that was sort of if a half went down, so I'd like to see. Yeah, like nothing against Tamati, and obviously brings that versatility. I don't think he's he's not that good. He came on at fullback last week. I still think you'd be better off shifting Dallin or Roger back if something like that happened again.
Well, Healy's more the future of the club than Martin is, unfortunately. I'd say more than likely maybe Martin's last year at the club.
Yeah.
I'd like 30, to see. Yeah. I'm just excited to see more of Healy, knowing that he's around for a few years.
Yeah, good point. 7 for Healy, a 7 for Marata Nukore, whose form surge continues. Moved to prop to start the game in a late change, and love that role for him. Felt like he had more impact than his numbers: 9 runs for 74 meters and 24 tackles in 59 minutes. But again, each time he was involved, you noticed it. I think he's been great. I mean, we were sort of talking for him to be dropped to the bench, and we're off him and his big contract, and he's been outstanding for 5 or 6 weeks now.
Nowhere.
So good on the big fella. Great to see. Lika Halasima, 7.5. Yeah, back in the starting side, 80-minute performance, 38 tackles, 10 runs, 73 meters. That seemed to come from nowhere to grab that bomb to score. And that was the try that broke the Sharks' back. Geez, he just looks like he fucking loves it out there, eh?
Yeah, he competes, man. He's just any opportunity.
19.
I know. That was quite a good interview. You get him and Daryl Halligan, both of them, I think, English as a second language, in that interview after the game. It was some quality viewing. Leka looks like the boys in the background giving him stick. I think they treat him like the 19-year-old by the look of the boys in the background. Poor bugger was on a hiding to nothing in that interview.
Well,
but
he's still
love the kid.
I suppose his second TV interview ever. He's still finding his feet. It's probably Halligan's 8,000th interview, and I think was this what Halligan said? You're on a real try-scoring freak instead of saying streak. You're really getting a string. Like, what's Leka meant to do with that? He's just speaking in tongues. Oh, the stray dog. And Leka's meant to they got to put him on with Lara Pitt or someone that can actually get some legible sentences together.
It's like me interviewing him. Jesus.
It was the blind leading the blind there, but Leka seems like a lovely kid, and she's a hell of a player. Just takes the game on. Didn't give a shit who was in that Sharks pack. Just got stuck in. And Jay, we'll talk about the contract extension. It's about 3 weeks overdue in a second. But Jacob Laban, second NRL starter, as I mentioned, he was ripping in from the outset. Big run, set the platform for that first try for Dallin.
He did.
50 minutes, 10 runs, 77 meters, 33 tackles. He smashed a couple of people. I thought it was probably several of his best moments in first grade ball in that game. And,
he looked strong out there.
That was the future of the club, seeing Leka and Jacob Laban packing down the second row together and stitched up to 2029, which is massive. We're not a club that dishes out really big, long contracts like that. So to have them locked in for another 4 years beyond this year sky's the limit for both of them, both young, both, unbelievable talents, incredible athletes. and shit, it's exciting.
I wonder how a contract of that length for kids of this age works. It must gradually go up, and because at the moment, Lecker would be on more, eh? You'd think. Would he get a larger,
Well,
heavy? It's tough. You
the
know what I mean? It's
contract,
quite a
well,
confusing little setup, that signing at the both time. Like, you imagine them coming out of the office,
yeah,
go, "How much do you get, man? How much do you get?" Oh,
yeah,
what?
I know it's
You got
bullshit.
what?
Yeah, it'd be
What do
fascinating
you?
to know what they're on.
Yeah.
You think sort of, maybe next year it's sort of around the 500 mark, and then boosting it up to around your 700-800, and obviously the cap goes up and all that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
always quite complicated, but they seem like fantastic young kids who would want to stay at the club and stay
yeah.
in Auckland, and their families here, and Auckland juniors. So it's a coup for
That's a
the club. I think it's great for them, and they're guys that could play a couple hundred games for the Warriors.
God, the club's in good nick at the moment, isn't it? Real good
Yeah,
nick. Best it's ever been.
yeah. Aaron Clark. So yeah, 7.5 for Lecker, 7 for Jacob Laban, 8 again for Aaron Clark, who, without crunching the numbers, has to be leading the Warriors Life Kings Container Crew Player of the Year award standings. It's just been unbelievable. Few less minutes this week, which is nice for the workhorse. 50 minutes he got, but 18 runs for 162 meters. He just could not get enough of the footy. 25 tackles, a bit less of a workload in that department than we've seen recent weeks. He was sort of getting around late 30s, early 40s for a few weeks there, and great offload that led to Vaimanga's try. Just cannot say enough good things about Aaron Clark. What a return to the club's team.
He deserves to be leading every week. Mr. Consistency. Loves bumping. Jeez, he's a nugget. He can thump someone off him when he hits the line. People end up backpedaling out of there pretty quick often.
Finds his front all the time. Geez, I'd love to see him win Dally M Lock of the Year. And I can't think of anyone really that would be chalking up the points or the votes like him. He's probably missed out on a few he should have got, I think, at times during the season, but he has picked up quite a few. Moving on to that bench, Jackson Ford. So he's, like, for me, he's sort of moved up to second prop behind Fisher Harris with Barnett out, but that bench role just suits him.
Yeah.
And yeah, keep making that late change, keep starting Ford off the bench, because he comes on in 54 minutes, 18 runs for 159 meters, 39 tackles, and error free again. A couple of penalties, but in general, just a changed man in terms of turning the ball over in those frustrating moments that we used to have. He's just a workhorse.
His role's simpler in the middle, isn't it? He doesn't have to be on an edge running for a line with a half touch and go pass being slung at him for him to knock it on, make errors. Yeah, it's far simpler role for what looks like from the outside looking in a very simple man. Mongo run forward. So he's
poor old Jack. I know he's having a hell of a season. And just loving his work. And, this is a guy that not many of us had in our 17 at the start of the year. Now he's undroppable. Probably one of the
at the moment.
top half. Yeah. Tomato. So, 8 for Jackson Ford. He's racking up some big scores. His average has to be among the best in the team in the player ratings. Tomato Martin, 5.5 for 35 minutes. Came on, did his job, 18 tackles, decent service. Just, you just get a bit of a drop off in creativity, I think. And nothing wrong with that. Sort of holds down the fort, but you wouldn't want him playing, 70 minutes a hooker. You need something a bit more. So, pure utilities, certainly not the. And you got to feel sorry, I guess, for someone like Freddie Lussick being less versatile. Couldn't get Freddie out of the team last year, to our chagrin at times, but. Yeah, he's fallen way down the pecking order, long way from a first grade spot. And Dimitri, I mean, for me, that's my biggest individual takeaway. Fuck, what a great short ball for Fisher Harris, backing up to streak away for a try. He's got wheels. and big numbers, 40 minutes, 11 runs, 106 meters, 21 tackles. And, he looked every bit the enforcer, the budding champion middle forward. And it just all seemed to click for him last night. We've seen flashes of it, I think.
Yeah.
And a couple of regrettable moments, I guess, with the odd error. But last night he was just sensational and took it to, the big Sharks pack who've got a big set of middles, internationals, and he outshone them all.
He's been building to that performance for a few weeks, like for a long time now. He's been hinting at it, but everything sort of just went his way and played out quite nicely for him as well. He was just found himself in, like, opportunities arose for him last night, backing up Metcalf. That was good though. As soon as Metcalf went through that hole, he pinned it as quick to get up there and support next to him. He kept up with Metcalf as he shot through. So he well deserved try. And how was that pass? Looking out the back and just hitting it. It was sick, man. That was awesome.
Beautiful stuff. And another string to his bow. We know that he can
beast
sling an offload, but to be able to do something like that too, that's pretty exciting. And guys like that are stepping up slowly. Aaron Clark, the likes, for what we're missing without Tohu and Dylan Walker there, and it's all slowly coming together. The last one, Tanner Smith, just the 21 minutes in the second game, but again, nice and busy, doesn't look out of place. 5 runs, 53 meters, 14 tackles with no misses. It's a good work rate in 21 minutes, and he's just knocking on the door for with Barnett out, potential permanent spot in that 17.
Yeah, he's your no nonsense front row, and you got Dimitrik and Lecker. They are going to be explosive. Laban he's more of your workhorse as well. So if Jacko or anyone else sort of gets injured, Murata, I think Stowers Smith's next man up in that front row.
Yeah, Bunty's obviously in the mix there, and I will have a look at New South Wales Cup, Brad. But if you want to talk about your blazing performance in the This Warriors Life mix and pick game,
I didn't come out on top. 10. You're in the you're in the presence of greatness here. This is the first time ever. Yeah, me and who was I equal with? Billy Spleen, is that right?
Billy Spleen, who is probably he's just about the mix and pick goat in this game. He's always up there and get winning t-shirts, getting high scores.
I was happy with
that. This must be a record. So obviously this year where it's not first past the post. Anyone that gets 5 or more points is in the draw for a t-shirt. And this week, only fucking old Cozzy's gone and won it.
Oh, has he snuck through?
Out of 68 players who crossed the 5-point line, he has grabbed that t-shirt. Yeah, so good on you, Cozzy. Great supporter of the show. Coaster.
Yeah, it is. It's good. So, it's good when a regular manages to sneak a victory like that. Cozzy, he'll have that hanging up in the back window of his truck. I reckon that t-shirt. They have the Warriors flag, those bloody truckies. He'll have that strung up in the back window of his truck. Good shit, Cozzy. He'll probably go extra small, deep V. I'd say. Those truck drivers have got weird fashion sense sometimes. They like some different things.
All that time on the road, too much time to think.
Public toilets.
Weird stuff.
Stopping at random public toilets, and they get showing things they didn't know existed.
But 10 points, that's a rarity, Brad. That's a high score, and you've just pipped old Mike Minogue, great friend of the show, Prank Podcast boss, and he's spewing. He's got 9. That's a great score, but he's missed out to be Larkin this week. Good to see old Minogue repping the show and getting around in his This Warriors Life t-shirt while he was on the tools with Radio Hauraki. Some of their
didn't go unnoticed.
Stuff, so great stuff.
Is
looking 10, at that New South Wales.
Is that 10 out of 10?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it? Fuck. Yeah, okay. Trace is going to be so stoked when I tell her. She'll be so interested in this. As soon as the show finished.
You're a fucking big man, Brad.
Yeah.
This hunt that I'm married to.
Yeah,
New South Wales Cup, Brad. They just can't stop winning, these guys. Top of the table, 3-point buffer. I don't know I think maybe some of the other teams still to play this weekend, but what have they got? They've won at least 5 in a row.
Have
Points
we?
differential of over 200 and
Jesus.
12-1 record. So that's quite remarkable.
Did they play Newtown
Looking at
yesterday?
the team, Newtown, who no slouches themselves. They're 5th on the ladder right now. Might have, been higher than that coming into the round. So, another great win on the road.
Yeah.
At Henson Park. Always a tough place to go.
Where's Henson Park?
Sounds
like a dog park,
I believe. I think the Fonz gets down there a bit. Actually, he used to go down and watch Luke Metcalf run around for the Jets before he came to
no shit.
the Warriors. So, I think it might be quite handy to the Fonz.
So was Ali playing?
Yes, he did play. He played 59 minutes at starting centre. 6 runs for 67 meters, a couple of tackle breaks, 8 tackles, no misses. So,
59 minutes though is worrying, isn't it?
Like you said,
Why did he go off at centre? Do they do that a bit?
Not quite sure. Setu too.
Yeah. What's he doing back there? I've been meaning to talk about him. Wasn't he at Melbourne at pre-season?
Yeah, he was at the start of the year. I think he playing
He's a gypsy, man.
He's at Redcliffe, and then he's at the Warriors for the 3rd time, and he's all over the show. Yeah, I'd love to see him. Maybe like if we got a dead rubber game in round 27, and they put out a second string team like we did in 2023. Give Setu a debut.
I reckon he's earned one. He must have a missus that just keeps getting transferred. God, right, I'll ring Webby again. Jeez, I just told him I was leaving. I just come to. I have to ring Bellamy and let him know we're going back.
Right, jeez, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that to Webby. Jeez, I've got a bit of backtracking to do. Myler Graham Telfer, we haven't talked about him yet, Brad, but he scored the first try against the Jets, and pretty strong game stats wise as well. But MGT, he was the next wave, and we talked him up for so long, and then he's gone signed with South Sydney for next year. So his time at the Warriors is coming to an end.
For some reason, they've been looking past him for a wee while now, though, haven't they? It's almost like they almost don't see him as what fits into what the Warriors have got going on at the moment, the way he's been sort of ignored in some selection weekend or weeks. But so, I don't know what's not right with him for this club. He's a great player. It'll be interesting to see how he goes at the Rabbits. He'll probably do quite well.
Yeah, I'd love to see him get some more first grade, because we've had, that's where our injuries have been this year. Dallin and Roger out for extended periods. Ali and Rocco obviously been out and been plugging the gap with a forward. Not the plans. Same when Ed Cossey getting the call up before Moala. Speaking of top of the run meters,
how did it go?
Big Ed kind of forgot man, because he went all right in first grade. Had the chance. Great game against the Tigers earlier this year. Kind of redeemed himself a bit. 16 runs, 171 meters yesterday. So good to see Big Ed with that work rate. Our halves yesterday, Luke Hansen getting the call up, obviously with Tamati, sort of cementing a bit of a spot in the 17 for first grade. Tanner Boyd, 2 try assists. Tanner Boyd, geez, he could rejecting the Cowboys.
He did, to stay another year here. So he likes what's happening. He's still got confidence. Maybe he can help out. I think that's a great win for the Warriors.
It'd be very interesting to see what if Metcalf is out for a week, or even Schnell, if it's Tanner first up or Tomato.
I'd probably preference would be Tanner. But tell me more about this Hansen, because he's starting to get a bit of attention. He's doing things down there, isn't he?
He was a permanent New South Wales Cup player last year, but because we went and bought another 8 halves, he's sort of got big, and he's still young. Penrith
What's
product.
His background? He's from Penrith, isn't he, as well?
From Penrith, yeah. And very good in New South Wales Cup last year. But he's been playing a lot of flag because he's still young enough, and because we've got so many halves. But with Tamati getting that call up, he's getting some more cup time, which is great. Scored a try yesterday. classy young player and could
Mm.
do a job in first grade if called upon. Big Tom Ale back in the saddle after some injuries. 19 runs, 141 meters, and 24 tackles. So good to see Tommy Ale.
He
Always
is
been a big
looking
fan of
big.
Tommy.
Running the
And
headgear, he's
Bunty
looking
actually,
like Paleocena
yeah.
out there. It looks wise with the headgear on and quite barnstorming runs. Yeah. Bunty.
Bunty, he played 50 minutes yesterday, 12 runs for 88 meters, 23 tackles. So, yeah, I'm guessing Stow Smith is sort of just jostling for that spot. Interesting to see. These young second rowers, geez, we've got second rowers coming out our ears, Brad.
Oh, shit.
Kalis Fatilofa and Eddie Edamir Taiava both scoring tries. Big Eddie, I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Not huge run meters for either of them yesterday, but my man Eddie, 51 tackles, and Kalis, 38. So scoring tries, racking up tackles. Geez,
These kids aren't afraid of hard work these days, are they? It used to come through and they were all glamour and glitz. Glamour and glitz.
Yeah.
What am I so cold in here? I just everything's from slow cryogenically getting frozen here at the moment. I'll just stop moving soon. But yeah, without wanting to put in the effort, or were pretty fragile when it come to effort back in the day. These kids coming through are tough in all facets of the game.
Yeah. A couple of young guys getting some runs off the bench with some of our, sort of fringe and New South Wales Cup regulars getting first grade time. So Jason Salalilo, he's from down this way, Canterbury Junior, getting 28 minutes off the bench, and young Toby Crosby. I think it's Ryan on the live chat has been crying out for him to get a first grade call up. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but he is a weapon, ex-Wellington Rugby Union
position,
sort of schoolboy, middle forward, I think, and just a real barnstorming weapon. But both of them having a good game yesterday, or work rate rise with their limited minutes, good meters, good effort on defence. Good to see. Geronimo Doyle getting the late. I guess Tane Tuapiki was 18th man in the end yesterday because Geronimo got the late call up for fullback. Good win for the boys. Jeez, this
could be
team
a fun
should go
final
on.
series this year. When do the women start?
July, I believe. Not too far away.
Cool.
So yeah,
because they'll televise that. We're not getting to see much of the New South Wales Cup, but the women, they'll televise. That's an epic team they've chucked together too. They're going to do. They could do some things this year. Who coaches that team?
Well, they've got Ronald Griffiths, who coached Newcastle to a couple of NRLW premierships. So yeah, they've gone and got a big gun coach. Yeah. I think maybe they're going to be a bit thin talent wise, key position wise. I mean, Api Nichols, great pick up at fullback, one of the modern greats of the women's rugby league. But in the halves, we might be a little light unless I'm underestimating the class of the ones that are recruited. But Michaela Brake, rugby sevens legend. Hopefully she is
that knee blind, isn't it? Knee blind?
Knee blind. Or knee or nay? Do you say knee? Or nay?
It's two E. Knee. Wouldn't it have that little high?
Yeah, Michaela knee. A little French. It's a French little thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Nah.
You do your research.
Even if they don't win the comp, they'll create some hella highlight reels this year, that team, won't they? With what they have got in that team. If they don't win the comp. Shit. No, good time to be alive. And Mel Meninga. Speaking of coaches, Mel Meninga at the Bears.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, he hasn't coached in one of the great rep coaches of all time with, amazing support staffs. Hasn't coached in the NRL since 2001. Underrated, I think. He came in with big expectations, being such a legend, and on the back of a Canberra team that had been dominant for a decade. Actually had like a 51 or 52% win rate, which is nothing to sniff at. As that team sort of disintegrated talent-wise and became, a bit of a journeyman team when all the Dailies and Clydes and Stewarts left. But yeah, 60. He'll be 65 shortly, and he's moving to Perth and building a new club.
Yeah, is he doing what
He's
Bennett sort of done at the Dolphins? Do you think? Do you reckon they've got him there for the face
Yeah.
to gather
So,
a squad and then hand over to
yeah,
like what?
and
Wolf?
you know, gets like a Josh Hannay in there, gets a couple of guys that are
Yeah,
actually the brains of the coaching operation. Maybe that's just what I'm thinking, but I just don't think Big Mao. He can come in, do a great job at Origin. Lobs
yeah,
in
it's different.
and does an international campaign at the end of the season, 3 or 4 games. But yeah, 24 game NRL schedule with all the pressure and these guys don't sleep. I think Big Mal's been on Easy Street for 24 years, and all of a sudden he's
What's he doing to
being
himself?
thrown into a 90-hour-a-week job. Love
Oh
Big
well,
Mal
all the
though,
best. All the
great
best.
guy,
It's going to be interesting to see what they stitch together. Do you know when?
and the
Okay,
team that they stitched
question.
together.
You're the stats man. When a new club starts, like the Dolphins, you know how each player gets a number that they played with the club. When is it the first signing or is it the fullback on that first debut game for the club that's number one?
Well,
Do you know
correct
what I
me if
mean?
I'm wrong.
Who's the number
Yeah,
one when it comes to the Dolphins a couple of years ago?
I think it's generally the fullback, but just let me consult this book here because how the Warriors did it.
Yeah. Sweet. Is that who
I'm
wrote
pretty
that?
I actually wrote that one, Brad.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
Just chucked it together back in 2019.
I like
A
the
few.
colouring in part. That's my favourite bit.
So Dean Bell got number one.
So your club captain.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if every club does that, but Dean Bell obviously was a centre. So in the order of old Phil Blake, I believe, was Warrior number 2, and he was the fullback, and so they ran through
That makes
1 to
sense.
17. So Greg Alexander number 7. Not that you'd know that he ever played for us, the way that he can't wait for other teams to win on.
Jeez,
Even him,
he
he was
started
giving us
piping up last night when the Sharks were coming back.
now he's all but he actually gave us some kudos during that second half. Couldn't really not, but
Brandy, Count Von Brandy, fucking vampire, that dude.
So that's how the numbering works at the Warriors. I think that might
makes
be
sense though. I was thinking it would be pretty dud to give it to a fullback and then, but club captain and then run through the numbers.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I'd have to have a look at the Dolphins register to see if they gave number 1 to Jesse Bromwich and then ran through from the hammer.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. Interesting musings, Brad.
I can't feel my toes, man.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, eh?
Fuck yeah. This heat ain't doing shit.
Oh, thanks for joining me on the Sunday morning. Geez, good to catch up on a weekend after a win like that. And we got a bye this week, so fucking put your feet up, mate. We're done. We're done for the week.
We ain't, just sit back and watch some footy. And we've got a wintry blast this week. So, just keep warm, I suppose. What are you doing for your Sunday, bruh?
Bit of work to do,
V8
actually, Brad.
supercars?
But
which fucking V8s? Perth, mate.
That's not really. Perth, the Perth Super Sprint, is it?
Well, I don't know what. Bit of work to do. That's no good.
Yeah, but it's a gloomy day out here. Keeping the poor old dog company.
Oh yeah, you've got it.
Old dog's going through a bit of a tough time, mate.
Yeah, real tough time.
Got a bit of an amputation coming up, I think. So
that sucks.
But yeah, just knock out some work and revel in last night's victory, and enjoy the free 2 points next week. How good's that going to be? Yeah,
who's the first game this RV? Who am I getting the house ready for?
Canberra and South, I think.
At 4?
I believe is the first game for 4 o'clock kickoff New Zealand time.
Mint.
And then 6 o'clock game is Tigers Panthers. Geez, aren't those two teams desperate for a win?
Tigers just turned to shit again, eh? That place. Oh wow. So
Yeah,
bad.
a 19-year-old packs a sad and the whole place implodes. Unbelievable. And yeah,
Nah,
looking
sweet.
forward to this Monday game, Bulldogs, Eels. Thanks for your time, Brad. Thanks for
No
everyone
worries.
who's tuned in, watched us on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button. Just fucking do it.
Yeah, man.
Subscribe on
Yeah.
Spotify if you're audio listening. And Kingston Tainer crew, of course, thanks to those boys. They will be loving life in terms of the Warriors' performances. TAB. Did you clean up at the TAB last night, Brad? Someone was actually
Nah.
messaging.
I had 20 on Capewell to get a try, and that didn't happen. So it wasn't going well, and I was all pumped up on Healy. So I put a quick panic bet on Healy to score a try in the second half, and that didn't go.
Chasing your
That was
tail.
probably more I was wanting him back on the field. Fucking Jesus. Get some money back. So I've had a couple of lean weeks at the tab. So yeah, I might see if there's any dogs on the Savi to try and claw back a couple of bucks.
I like the name of that one.
Exactly. I'll probably end up. Yeah. Oh well. Nah, sweet. Good to see you, bro. Let's do it.
Yeah, mate. Frank podcast as well. Patreon subscribers, especially, bunch of legends, and everyone out there having a wee listen. Yeah. Here's to feeling good all the time, Brad.
Yes.
This is a Frank podcast.